Today we are doing a review of something that many of you have been waiting for a really long time. So at Adobe Max 2017, Adobe is introducing two new different versions of Lightroom. The Lightroom that we knew and loved for many years is now going to be called Lightroom Classic CC. And then there's a brand new version that's being called Lightroom CC. So what's the difference? Essentially, you can read it right here on the screen. But Lightroom Classic is the Lightroom that we knew and love, and there are a couple of new additions to it. And then Lightroom CC is this new thing that's targeted to photographers that don't understand anything as far as the sliders go. So they don't know what clarity does, they don't really know what brightening and exposure does. Um, they've most likely never heard of dodging and burning either, even though those terms aren't even in Lightroom or anything like that. So they're finding a way to basically take the same thing and kind of simplify the language even more. It's an interesting move, and it also gives you automatic keyword and metadata attachment to your images. So it's pretty interesting, and some of those features I wish came to Lightroom Classic, but they haven't. So what's new in Lightroom Classic? Many people have been complaining about things like the fact that it's so slow, and actually that's why I personally moved over to Capture One versus Lightroom Classic CC. And they have also complained about like wanting new features, exporting, mostly about the fact that it's just so slow. If you're a more advanced editor, you probably complained about other things though. Either way, let's take a look at what's new in Adobe Classic CC, Lightroom CC. I may call it Classic every now and then just because it's easier and makes more sense, and you understand exactly what we're talking about. So yeah. So according to Adobe, the application launch time is faster, and we're going to see that, and you're going to see that live on my computer. I'm using a 2015 Apple iMac with, let me show you my specs right now. So I have 4 gigs of Intel Core i7 processing power. I have 32 gigs of RAM, and I have a lot of memory otherwise, but I mean, that's not really important. So, and also to show you, I don't really have a lot of apps open. I just have like email open over there, and that's really about it. So yeah, um, application launch time is supposed to be faster. Preview generation, which can be a really big problem if you're working with like medium format size files, or if you're working with something like Fujifilm files. Fujifilm files, because they have the X-Trans sensor, have always been kind of difficult to work with. And then in addition to that too, you have the import selection workflow and embedded Sidecar preview option. That I'm not really sure about. I mean, I worked with it. I didn't really see anything majorly different. Switching between library and developing module apparently is simpler, or there's some change to it. Moving from photo to photo in the develop module has also changed, and responsive brushing. Responsive brushing is pretty interesting. So it has to do not only with responsive brushing, but then there's changes to local adjustments. I'm going to show you kind of how I've used those. So what you can do is you can now use local brush, the adjustment brush, radial, or graduated filters to define like rough mask, and then you can refine the selection of the mask. And this is kind of a new addition that's added to the bottom of each local adjustment panel. There are other ways to kind of do exactly what they're trying to let you do, but apparently this is what Adobe thinks is easiest. So I can do this differently in Capture One. Granted, I can't mask as well and do like healing and all that stuff as well as I can in Lightroom, but I can get it done. So let's take a look at this. Lightroom Classic CC. Notice how it's coming up. It really is the app. Application launch time: 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi. 10 seconds to load up. Let's see that one more time. I'm going to quit Lightroom. Come on. I'm going to ensure that Creative Cloud is also on. I just restarted my computer, and now you're on. Okay, cool. And let's try this again. Lightroom Classic CC. Just letting you guys know that this is actually the day before it's supposed to be announced. That was slightly faster, in my opinion. So, this is a session that I did with a cosplayer by the name of Kiri-chan out here in Brooklyn. And let's look at those changes again. So preview generation is supposed to be faster. I'm shooting with the Nikon D810. Let's see. And then also moving from photo to photo in the develop module. So what I usually do, and some of you guys have seen this if you watch the re-edit series, is I say, I like that, okay, so I'm going to keep that. No. I do not want to keep that as yellow. I'm getting my keys mixed up. So P for pick, I like that, I don't like that, I don't like that, don't like that, don't like that, don't like that, don't like that. And as you can see, this is actually very interesting because yesterday when I did this myself, the previews weren't this fast. So I think that it's embedding the preview. Actually, yeah, that's what it's called, right? Preview generation? No, that's not what it's called. But either way, it's significantly faster. And what I'm going to do later on is I'm going to import some Fujifilm files from the 50S. And you're going to see just how different it really is. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going from image to image. I have 140 images here. And what I typically tend to do is I go through and I say, I like this, I like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. And I mark the ones that I don't like as X. And the ones that I do like, I hit P. She wanted to raptor. And these were test shots right there. And then we finally start getting into her actually, like, doing her thing. She was cosplaying as a female Sith that she did her own interpretation as. And as you see, I'm just going through. And the preview generation, once again, it's pretty fast here. But yesterday, it really wasn't as fast because the Nikon D850 files are pretty large. They're 45 megapixels, if I remember correctly. I do like that. Oh, loading. Okay. That's still pretty fast. I'm going to give it to Adobe there. And loading. Okay. But, you know, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt there. It had some extra work to do. And it's still loading them fairly fast right now. So, let's see. I like that photo. I do like that photo. I do like that photo. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. Not a major fan of that. I actually, in reality, in Capture One, I actually picked more of these images. Right now, I'm just being very sort of discerning. Right here, what I did was I put a flash behind Kiri, and I gelled it red, and that's how I got that look. And it's pretty nice, to my knowledge. But there was a problem, actually. So her lightsaber, after a while, stopped working. And it was supposed to be the color red, but the problem was that it just wasn't working. I don't know what happened. Like, the charger was kind of screwed up or something like that. So, these images I do like. And, okay. So now, I have all the images that I like. And I'm going to say delete rejected. I'm not going to remove them from the disk. I'm going to remove them from the catalog. And now I did that. Now I kind of put 140 images down to, like, much less. Okay, so let's work with this, shall we? So first off, what I always do is I lock my white balance to either daylight or tungsten. And that's what it'll look like at tungsten. And as you can see, it's taking a little bit longer. Perhaps because I am recording a video right now on my iMac. But no, that was quick. And now let's do that again. And okay, that's kind of working out. So I kind of like daylight better. Let's work with that instead. So I'm going to go through my normal kind of editing routine here. So I'm going to say remove chromatic aberration, enable the profile correction. I shot this with a Nikon 28mm f1.4, which fantastic lens if you haven't tried it. And Upright is saying that that is exactly what should be perfect, but I don't like that. I'm going to, oh no, wait, that is bad. No. I'm going to change my angle just a bit there, and that looks straighter. So, okay, now I've straightened the image, and now I'm going to crop it, because I didn't really like that. But see what I'm doing? I have the I have the rule of thirds there, and like it's lining up with her hip, it lines up at the end there, and then it lines up with her eye. So now, okay, we're cropped in. So let's go ahead and do some color edits first. So what I tend to do is I will work with the camera profile first. So I'm going to say camera portrait or camera vivid. Let's see what vivid looks like. Vivid is too vivid. I'm going to go with portrait. Okay, so we have that. I want to add some vignetting just because it'll make this look darker. Oh wow, look at that. It's bringing back more details from the top left. And now what I'm going to do is I work with sharpening just a bit. The noise on this is ISO 1600. It's pretty darn good. You do see noise, but I mean, it's color noise. It's not bad. So I'm going to kill the color noise just a bit anyway. Details, noise reduction, contrast. Okay, cool. I'm not going to split the tones and the highlights and the shadows, although I have done that in Capture 1. And now luminance. So red is associated with that area. And I'm not going to brighten that, but I will saturate that quite a bit. And orange is associated with her skin tone and the back right there. So I'm going to keep that. Yellow is associated with, oh, that's interesting, certain things over there. Green, there's very little green in there, but it is there. And the other colors I'm not going to really worry about right now. So yellow, let's see what will happen when I saturate that. Okay, see that right there. Interesting. And if I change the hue of yellow, then it goes to orange, and then it's tougher to edit everything because as soon as I modify anything to the orange panel now, it's going to affect that color channel a little bit more. And now separating that way, going to more green. No, I don't like that. Okay, cool. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some very slight basic adjustments. This is my preferred way of editing, just because it gives me better control over the image that I want. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with the new masking tool. So Adobe has this, and I'm going to make this smaller slightly. So now I'm going to mask all this. And right now it's being defined by the exposure. But now when I change the color to something, let's say that red. Yeah, okay. So now I've made it redder, and now if I increase the exposure, then it looks a little bit more like a lightsaber, or if I increase the contrast, no, decrease the contrast. And if I saturate it quite a bit, it looks more like a lightsaber now. Even more. Up the clarity, raise the shadows a bit. Highlights, bring those back down a bit. Whites, yeah, bring those up. Black, and okay, so now I have masked the lightsaber to look like it's red. So now what I can do here is it's got, this is the new feature. It's called the Range Mask. So using the mask, and I can say the colors. So I want to choose, you use this dropper tool, and what's it say? It says use the color range selector to sample colors within the mask area. Click and drag for greater accuracy, or shift and click to add multiple samples. So now I can say this area right here. Okay, and now I adjust the ranges, and now I want you to look over here, because that's where that was happening when I was adjusting the shadows. And now let's see what happens when I adjust the head. No, actually the highlights aren't really going to be there. So now let's look at the luminance. So now if I smooth that out, you always want to smooth it out because of noise. Now the range, let's see what happens. So now it becomes darker accordingly. And now it'll become less saturated. I sort of like that a bit more, but not really. Okay, so that is one mask. That's done. Another mask that I want to do, that I was practicing with yesterday, was I'm going to brighten the exposure just a bit. And then I'm going to work on Kiri's face here. I want to make it a little whiter. I don't know why, but like this face reminds me a little bit of Queen Padme from Star Wars, even though she's supposed to be Sith. She's not. So I'm going to adjust the temperature first. See what I get. Interesting. Okay. So I'm going to keep that there. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to do a Luminance Mask. So now that looks very bright. It doesn't really look natural. So now I'm going to see what I can do. So now I'm kind of equalizing it just a little bit. Now if I nerf the highlights a little bit, no, I don't really want to nerf the highlights. That's not the point here. Now if I desaturate, no, that is too much of her standing out there. And then I can add a little bit of sharpness, a little bit of contrast. Let's see. No, God, no. No, that's not what I want to do. Boost the exposure a bit. Okay, there we go. So now, come on. You can do it. Full size image. Now I have an image that I have created using the new Adobe Lightroom Classic. And I'll put this in the review on the Phoblographer. You'll see it. But let's take a look at what were the other features. So application launch time, we tested that. Preview generation, you're going to see a little bit more of that. Import workflow and selection. Okay, switching between library and develop module. So there's here, and then library, and yeah. So it's apparently faster or something like that, but I mean, whatever. Moving from photo to photo in develop module, we totally saw how that has improved, and we took a look at the local adjustments and the brushes and all that, and that's pretty cool. But let's look at. Oh, you know what? Some of these images are already imported. Let me start a brand new catalog. Let's see what'll happen. So I'm going to start a brand new catalog, and I'm going to call this Adobe Lightroom Classic CC catalog. Launch catalog. I'm going to call this the launch catalog. So I'm going to create it in my October 2017 one. Now Lightroom is going to shut down, and it's going to come back up. Updating catalog plugins. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to do a brand new import. So I'm going to say my Fujifilm stuff. Let's see where those are actually. So I'm going to go to Finder first. And I think that they are in... No, they're in 2016. No, they're in 2017. They have to be. Now, Fujifilm GFX 50S. They have to be from this year. There's no way that they're not. So, show and closing folder, February 2017. Okay, so they are in February 2017. So now I'm going to go February 2017, Fujifilm GFX 50S. Where are you? XT20 review. We can look at that as well too. But I don't want to look at that yet. So actually, yeah, let's take, because most of you have kind of the more, I want to say pedestrian Fujifilm cameras and stuff like that. Let's take a look at these photos then. Those are JPEGs. I don't care about the JPEGs. I care about the RAWs. So I'm going to uncheck all of these. And I'm going to say I want this to here, all imported. And let's see how Fujifilm X-T20's files look. So they're importing the files. And that was pretty fast, honestly. I don't think that's everything, though. No, it's not. It is not. It is clearly not, because you see the dialogue up here. Still doing it. Okay, so it's imported all the files. And these are pretty quick. And if you see, it's still kind of working on a whole bunch of stuff. So that's pretty quick. I'm going to keep that as a pick. Going to keep that as a pick. That's not working. That is working. That is working. That's a terrible photo. And yeah, so this is what happens. And cool. If you take a look now, it's actually doing a pretty good job. Let's try that mask again. So first off, 5500, and then I'm gonna say I really like Castilla, guys. I don't know about you that use Fujifilm cameras, but I really, really like Castilla. And upright, okay. Fujifilm lens profile baked in, of course it is. This was shot with a Lens Baby, actually, so maybe Lens Baby's options are in here. I believe they are. Yeah, but it's not with the Velvet. It's, no, it's not going to be custom. It's going to be default. It was the Lens Baby Twist, I think. No, not the Twist, I'm sorry. The Trio. So I'm going to work on her skin tones. That is too orange, no way. I'm going to brighten her up just a bit. I'm going to brighten up the blues a bit. And I'm going to saturate the blues quite a bit, because I want those to stand out more. I'm going to saturate the... Let's see what happens when I work with the greens. The greens are there, so I don't know why they're not really being worked with right now. Okay, that's good enough. I'm going to add some clarity, boost the black levels a bit. Okay, so let's create a mask for this area up here. Maybe I can get some of this detail back. I'm very positive that I can, just by using the highlight tool. But I'm going to do this. And now I'm getting more and more of that detail back. But now maybe I should do this. And, work a little closer to just there. Okay, cool. So now, the luminance range. So now what I can do is I can go like that. If I boost the shadows all the way, then less of that detail comes back. If I do this, kill the highlights, the highlight detail kind of goes away. So it's kind of interesting. But that looks more natural right there. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say off, and I'm just going to say that. But if I put it back on, let's see what the difference is. Okay, that looks a little more natural. But could I have gotten that out this mask? Sorta, kinda. Not a whole lot, though. Luminance. Bring down a little bit. Okay. Alright, cool. So now we have an image that looks pretty nice. And I can get that with the new Adobe Lightroom. Let's find those Fujifilm files, though. That was in GFX 50S. Let's look at that, because I feel like that is a great test here. GFX 50S. No. GFX 50S. You are in Show and Closing folder. Shoot with Amanda. GFX 50S. Oh, it's in April 2017. That's where I was screwing up. Okay, so I'm going to import again. I'm going to, that's Finder. Import. Actually, I'm going to use the import dialog here, because now it's in, that was the develop module? No, that was the library. Okay, whatever. Okay, not on that. April 2017. April 2017. April 2017, there we go. Fujifilm GFX 50S. Let's even import some movies, guys. Uncheck all. And I want to sort by, I can't sort right now. Oh, sort by media file type. Yes, there we go. So those are the JPEGs. And these are the raws over here. And I want to work with the raws. So I'm going to work with the raws. But I'm going to work with, yeah, let's give it a torture test. Might as well. So I'm going to import a whole bunch of raws. Good God, I don't even know how many images I've selected. Quite a few, though. So I'm going to import all these raws. Let's see what'll happen. Let's see if I can break Lightroom. I don't think I can, but it would be interesting if I do. So as you see, the Fujifilm GFX is importing at a significantly slower speed, but to its credit, Lightroom is actually doing quite a good job of rendering the images. And it's also, wow, actually that's a pretty good job. And they're big files, it's taking a long time. So let's see. Still images being imported, obviously. They're starting from the end right now. So let's keep going. Let's look through. And while we're at it, let's kind of look at what was here. So application launch times, faster preview generation, switching between library and develop module, moving from photo to photo, we saw that. Importing selection workflow with embedded and sidecar preview option. They probably mean embedded preview option, but I didn't really add that in. And whatever. But either way, or if I did add it in and I didn't know about it, it's just pretty good right now. There's a way to see how much power this is actually taking on my iMac, but whatever. So, okay, we have a ton of images imported right now. Let me look at this photo that I shot. Is this one sharp? It's gonna, oh, that was actually a pretty fast preview for a 50 megapixel medium format file. That is sharp. Okay. So let's start working with this image. 5500 daylight, because I want this to be warmer. Maybe I'll make it even warmer than that. Let's say that. Because, man, that was actually a hot day in Times Square. Fujifilm Acros? No. Oh god, no. I don't want black and white. Astia is pretty nice. But maybe Pro negative? No, I don't like the look of that Classic Chrome. Because I know a lot of you like the look of Classic Chrome. I abhor it, to be honest with you. It can be nice in certain situations, but not every situation. So yeah, I feel like this image represents the fact that he's a photographer. There's the chaos of Times Square going on. There's a blur of people. There's people taking selfies. Whatever. So I'm going to upright this. And as you see, it was mostly perfect. I'm going to sharpen. And now I'm going to work with the color channel. So Luminance red is associated a little bit with Charles's skin there. Orange should be more so, yes. Orange is more so. So I'm going to saturate the reds. No, that's really bad. No. Orange. I could actually saturate the red channel if I wanted, and then kind of desaturate it with a mask. Let's do that. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to saturate the entire red channel. And I'm going to boost the clarity, lower the black levels, and add some more contrast. Okay, so that's a slightly better image. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on his skin a bit over here. So now that's the mask. I'm going to desaturate that a bit. So now he looks a little bit more normal. And now he's not as ghost faced right now. Sharpness. Contrast? Add more contrast? Yes, adding more contrast for sure. And now the color mask. So now I'm going to use the dropper tool. I'm going to say I want all the colors to be like this. And then maybe like this. Or let's see what happens when I choose this. Nothing. Let's see what happens if I choose this, because it was in the same color channel. Interesting. Nothing. Oh, but then I can adjust the amounts here. So now I say this. Now let's say I wanted that, but let's, now I don't really want his eyes sampled, because he looks a little tired there. So, okay, that I did kind of fix it, but I didn't really need the color mask. What about luminance? Okay, so now I have, if I crush the shadows more, I get more of the highlights back. And if I crush the highlights more, then I also get more of the highlights back. But I don't really like that. But I do think that that's normalizing it just a bit. So, okay, did that. I did some final touch-ups. But at the same time, I also feel like maybe I could have done that with just a mask. I don't know. That's just me. Let's go from image to image. Let's say yes for that. Let's say no for that. Let's say no for that because that was a screw up. More screw up, more screw up. And as you see, these files are still being rendered fairly fast. Yeah, that's a Fujifilm GFX 50S, and actually, that is some of the fastest that I've seen a Fujifilm file rendered since many Lightrooms ago. Many Lightrooms ago. Let's go to my session with Amanda here. Actually, no, let's go to, not lingerie session. Let's go to, it was this session? No, it's Steven. Let's go to this session. Okay, cool. So these were tests, and then I had her sit down, really. I liked those more. So now I'm saying, okay, I hit all these, like that, like that, like that, like that, no, no, no. Do like that a bit more, like that a bit more. That's okay, and that's okay. Okay, so now let's see them render. That was pretty quick, so I'm going to give that to Adobe Lightroom here. Let's work with this file. That's the one I really like. Come on, you can render. And it rendered fairly fast. I'm going to give it credit there. So let's say 3200. That looks pretty cool. Or 5500. No, 3200. We're going to go with 3200. Okay, cool. So now we have, let's say Astia again. And then let's say, I'm not really going to use the dehaze tool because I don't really feel like that gives me a lot. If anything, it just kind of raises the clarity and like makes it more of an HDR, if anything. So a little bit auto on upright, and I'm going to, I rarely do this, but I'm going to nerf the highlights a bit, and I'm also going to kind of kill the exposure a bit, because it makes the colors pop more, and I really like that. So the colors that are really kind of prevalent here are orange, purple. Yes, purple, yeah. Oh, that looks cool. That looks so cool. Magenta, yeah, making that pop more. Blue, yep, I'm liking that. Red, yep, she's red. I'm gonna tone that back a bit. No, I'm gonna move that up. Purple, I'm gonna brighten a bit, and blue, I'm gonna brighten a bit. Okay, cool. Now we got some pretty cool colors. I really enjoy this image right now. And now I'm thinking, what if I wanted to make this entire top part this blue color? So if I wanted to do that, I could do it with the graduated filter. And then I could say, not exposure, but instead what I want to do is I want to change the white balance of the area. So now I have that. Okay. I'm going to bring it down even more. Have that affect that area even more. Okay. So now I've turned that entire top-ish area into blue. I'm going to rotate this just a bit. Okay, and now let's see what happens when I have the color mask. What I want is I want everything to just be this color. And it's sort of, what the hell did it do just now? So right now, let's observe this. This area is purplish. That area is purplish. If I just observe this area, then it makes this entire area very red. And if I scale that up, then it's making it more blue. But I feel like that's much different than if I just took away the mask. Actually, yeah, that's significantly different. So I'm going to say, make this blue, even more blue, lower the exposure a bit, we'll bring this down just a tad, bring that up over there, and now maybe saturate it. Maybe more blue will come in. Okay, more blue is coming in. And now the color, and now doing this. And it's interesting what it's doing. I think it's because of the way that it's feathering right now, and that's fair. Now if I increase this, okay, cool. So now it's killing more of that kind of reddish area, but it's not giving it to me totally. I could mask that, really. So what I can do here is I can say no for the exposure, but yes to this. I'm going to make this a little bigger to kind of make this go faster. And I'm going to make that even bluer. And cool. Now we've got really what we want. And now take a look. And now we have created an image that's really sort of simple to use and really nice. That's not going to be zoomed in all the way. There's no way. Oh, wow. Actually, yeah, it did work. Just took a while because of reasons. But she's nice and sharp, and that looks nice. And we have done this. So, what do I think of the new Lightroom? I don't think this is bad at all. It's pretty fun to work with. I may go in between this and Capture One every now and then. So, I mean, for many photographers, I think that what you'll need, everything that you need here, is going to be there. But for other photographers to kind of think in a different way, and I'm one of those photographers, I'm not sure if I'm going to fully go back to Lightroom. I am going to buy the new, what's it called? The new subscription plan. That's not a problem. But yeah, actually, you know what? I'm gonna show you that right now. So exporting file. I should actually test that right now. Let me do that. I'm gonna go back to the Fujifilm X-T20. No, not Fujifilm X-T20. Not Fujifilm GFX. Not that one. Let's go to the other catalog instead. Open catalog. It was Mark. Catalog. Can I find it right now? I probably can't. Yeah, my catalogs are all over the place, and I mean, I don't necessarily recommend that, but some people do it. Let's see what'll happen if I do this. Let me view sort. Pick, yes. Okay, cool. So I liked, which file did I like? That wasn't rejected, that makes no sense. Okay, whatever. Either way, I think this is working out pretty well. I think that what's happening right now is there's a lot of change coming to Adobe, and it's working out pretty well in their favor. And I mean, the new Lightroom seems like they are actually listening to their customers, so I'll give them that. Let's do one last quick session here. What's going on here? I don't want to view by pick. I don't want to sort by pick either. What if I did this? Go to preview, go to next photo, set undo flag, undo module change, set undo selection, undo change source. Okay, so now I should be able to find everything. So these images I've chosen, and it was this one that I edited, so I'm going to take this edit and I'm going to sync it to all of these images. I'm going to sync everything. And let's take a look. Come on, wrong button. Oh, it's syncing the, you know what it's synced? It synced the, undo the sync settings. synced to the mask, and I didn't want that synced. Local adjustments, take that off. And now it should be working, right? Yeah. Okay, these look pretty nice. And those were synced. So now I'm going, oh, no, I do not want to select all those. So now, Lightroom, Fuji, GFX, XT20. Let's say these. And, no, for just kicks, I might as well, oh, it's exporting. Oh, wow, it's taking a longer time than normal. So, this is where Capture One is kind of ahead of it. Capture One would have finished that within a couple of seconds max. This is taking longer. It's not unacceptable, but it's a fairly long time. Let's look and import that other shoot again. So October 2017. I'm talking about the one that I shot with the cosplayer, Kiri-chan. It was in my Godocs folder, because I'm testing this. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to uncheck all. I'm going to select all of these. I'm going to say this. And then build previews. Oh, here we go. Embedded and Sidecar. Yeah, let's try that. Import. So it's importing Nikon D850 files again. So 2 operations are in progress, rather. So, just for speed of sakes in this video, even though I know people sit there and watch like hour-long YouTube videos, and I commend you for that, because I can't do that. Okay, let's say, now it's taking longer. Fetching initial previews, that's why. But actually, that's not bad. That's not bad. I'm going to give it credit for that. So, pick, not pick. Okay, so these 3. I'm going to edit this image. I'm going to do some quick edits, not a whole lot of crazier edits. Let's say 3200 ISO. No, not ISO, rather, I'm sorry. Do I like the warm? No, I want the contrast of blue and red darkness with Kiri over here. Contrast. I'm aware that I'm going against everything that I said, but the reason why I'm doing this is just because sake of timeliness right now. Keep going. Enable profile correction, done. And I want to give a little bit of that. Vignetting. And what I also want to do is, that's purple channel, right? So I'm going to work with the purple channel right now. And I'm going to say that I want the purple channel's hue to be more, no. Is that a magenta channel? No. What channel is that? That is this channel right here. Oh, it's a red channel, okay. So I want that to be more red. But I want to saturate that more. I want to kill the luminance on the red channel. Okay, so now I'm getting that detail back in the lightsaber. I could also kind of mask that back in, but I'm too lazy at the moment. I'm going to say, oh, sync. So used to doing this in Capture One. Synchronize. So, okay. 3 images sorted ready. And on this one, I'm going to brighten the red channel. Where'd it go? There you are. Brighten. Okay, cool. So now, export, Lightroom, review, Nikon D850, and exporting. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi, 11 Mississippi, 12 Mississippi, 13 Mississippi, 14 Mississippi, 15 Mississippi, basically 17. Okay, that's 3 files. Capture One still would have been faster, unfortunately. So, I mean, Lightroom's exporting could probably be a little faster, but otherwise, I mean, the process of working with it is still pretty fast. So, I'll give it that. And that is my review of Adobe Lightroom Classic CC. I think it's a warranted improvement. The new features are really nice, but I still prefer, personally, the way and approach of editing images and the way that Capture One kind of approaches color science. So, yeah, and you can see that by looking at my series that I do called the Re-Edit. You'll see that there are many different panels. Like, for example, exposure more or less has its own panel, like a full thing that would be up here and develop, and then colors would be its own thing, and then details and sharpness would be its own thing, and then there are basic adjustments and all that stuff, and lens corrections another. So, sorry, I really need a drink of water. Yeah, I think it works out really well, and I think a lot of people will like the new Adobe Lightroom Classic CC until kind of newer cameras come out with higher megapixels, and then they'll need to revamp the engine again. Alright guys, that's the review. Thanks a lot, and take care.